everyone. Good morning. Welcome to Morning Tea with Tiffany. Thank you for joining today. Okay. I got a few things for you guys this morning, but before we get started, we always want to start our day with a morning prayer. So let me begin. I pulled one up today that I thought was a really good one. So we'll go ahead and get started. Let me put my glasses on so I can read. Hey, good morning, Karen. Welcome. Thanks for joining this morning on this beautiful Monday morning. Hey, Andy. Good morning. All right, we're going to start with our prayer. Dear God, at the start of each day, help us to recognize you all above else. Enlighten the eyes of our heart that we may see you and notice how you're at work through our lives. Give us wisdom to make the best choices. Fill us with a desire to seek you more and more than anything else in the world. Let your spirit and power breathe in us, through us, fresh and new. Thank you that you are greater than anything that we might face in the day. Thank you that your presence goes with us and that your joy is never dependent on our circumstances, but is our true and lasting strength no matter what we're up against. We ask that your peace lead us, that it would guard our hearts and minds in you. We ask for your grace to cover our lives this day. We love you, Lord. We need you, Lord. In Jesus' name, amen. So when we start the morning with a prayer like that, what could possibly go wrong? Hey, good morning, Janine. How are you? I saw that for Easter, you guys did the little Easter bunny prints. Those were so cute. What a great idea. All right, so thank you for joining today. Those of you who are on with me, let me get myself together here. So our announcements, as always, we feature a highlight of our businesses. Okay, I do one every single day. If you have a business, a project, something that you want to promote in our announcements every single day, we highlight one business. And I'm going to start with mine. And then I have another person that sent me some information that they want to share today. So, like I said, we are in every one of these lives going to be purposeful in our purpose, right? That's my new thing. It's my new saying. I didn't take that from anybody. I made it up myself. But purposeful in our purpose, all right? And in doing that, right now, especially with, things happening with COVID-19, people are losing money, businesses are losing money, nonprofits are losing their helpers, their volunteers because of social distancing. There's so many different things that are happening. So we have to work harder and smarter in order to continue to maintain. And in doing that, we have to try to gain as much exposure as we can in the things that we're doing. So how a Mint in the Making and TSM Mortgage Professionals and me personally, Tiffany Mint, are trying to do those things is by just sharing, what we have to offer and providing a platform for other people who are struggling right now and need that platform to be able to gain some additional exposure for themselves. So that being said, my highlighted feature course is our one-on-one housing counseling. Okay, so every month, like I have shared, for those of you guys who have been with me for a while, I do a home buyer education class. It's a free class the first Tuesday of every month. And since I'm doing that, this Tuesday is coming up for the May class. The feature course that I'm highlighting is the one-on-one housing counseling. Okay, so that's for clients who are looking for general knowledge on home ownership. We hold your hand through the process, provide you with knowledge and insight, in the lending process, in the home buying process, answer questions, address any concerns. We help you create a budget, and talk to you about the things that affect qualification. So it's a really good course. Not really a course, but it's more of a counseling session, and that's $25 per hour. Okay, so with that, I'm going to jump right into the actual home buyer education class that we do that's free. That's on May 5th from 7 to 9 p.m. We have a couple of special guests on this month, which I'm really excited about. We have Kristen Genovese, who is with CMS Mortgage. She is a loan originator there, and she will, speak to the class about her, experience in the industry, and also share, hey, Chan, good morning. And share some insight on the home buying process and the origination process. So she'll be there to answer some of your questions. Kristen can be reached at CMS Mortgage. Her telephone number is 201-486-2244. And if you want to talk more with Kristen, you can join the home buyer education class that we have on Tuesday from 7 to 9 p.m. on Zoom. Go to Eventbrite to reserve your seat. And then on May 21st, we have a social mixer that's also going to be held on Zoom. So bring yourself, your virtual business card, and a cocktail to the screen, and we are going to just network and enjoy each other's company and find out a little bit more about, who we are, what we do, and how we can help each other. So those are our announcements for today. I hope you will, I will see you, or you will join us on one of these events. All right, so now let's jump into our topic. Who else is on right now? Let's see. Andy says, is it just me, or does Tiffany keep freezing? Oh, okay. Well, I don't know what's happening. I'm using the same equipment that I always use. So I apologize if you guys can't see me. Okay. All right. Okay. Today's topic is a good one. Write the words you need to hear. Write the words you need to hear. That's what that was our writing prompt for Friday. So is anybody going to go first? You guys going to leave that up to me. This morning is peppermint again, peppermint tea. I'm back to my tea drinking. My hot tea drinking. All right, write the words you need to hear. Okay, well, I know sometimes it takes you guys a minute to start engaging, so I will go first. At some point in time, I want you guys to beat me to the punch. Oh, okay, Andy, she's got hers on here. All right, congratulations. So she likes to hear that word. Jesus, she likes to hear that word. And thank you. Those are really good words, So Andy, I want you to tell us why those words, what those words mean to you, and why they're important, why you need to hear those words. And while you're doing that, I am going to write down or share with you some of the words that I wrote down. I have quite a few. All right, and then I'll tell you the reasons why these words are important to me. All right, so God is one of my words. I love you. I miss you. I believe in you. God is with you. Never give up. Don't settle for less. I care about you. You are important. You are beautiful. You mean a lot to me. Smile through the hard times. Take lots of pictures, but not too many. Love unconditionally and follow your heart. Okay, so those were my words. Those were my words. I had a lot of them, as you can see, right? So the reason why I thought this would be a really good exercise is because, we've talked about reflection. We mentioned a little bit in previous lives about communication, right? And when I started to think about the communication piece, what came to me is that a lot of times we have gaps, huge gaps in our communication, whether it be from a work perspective, professionally, whether it be in our personal lives, whatever, atmosphere or environment that we're in, is always some sort of a gap in communication. So as I began to think about how those gaps, widen, and close, I started to think about, why sometimes, I may shut down in a conversation, right? And what prevents me from really feeling or seeing the other person's point of view. Remember, we also talked about active listening and effective communication. Hey, Kim, how are you? Thanks for joining this morning. Look, got my earrings in. So anyway, a lot of times what happens is that there are certain things, there are words that trigger us, and trigger certain emotions that we have. There are words that maybe we need to hear, but we don't hear, and we kind of, shut down or go into this, this little, in my mind, I envision it as a cave that I kind of run into, when, I'm not feeling important. Hey, Stace, I'm not feeling important, or I'm not being heard, or, I don't feel emotionally secure, I guess, for lack of a better term, right? And so we need, part of the communication, part of having effective communication is, hearing certain trigger words, and I don't know if you guys have ever really thought about it in this light. And again, for me, I just think about how things affect me, right? And sorry guys, I'm having another hot flash. Good gracious. Got my fan today though. Whew. Can you see my face all of a sudden just starts glowing, glistening because of these hot flashes. I don't know if you guys are experiencing the same thing I am, but good gracious, when they come on strong. So anyway, I think about the things that I need to hear, and the things that sort of, make me feel secure in a relationship, a friendship, and those are the words that that come to mind. So I need to hear, every so often, as I'm sure we all do, I need to hear, we know that our family loves us. We know that our spouses, significant others, that they love us. But a lot of times it's not enough to just say, oh, you already know, right? Sometimes we need to hear the actual words, I love you. We need to hear the actual words, I appreciate you. Okay? I appreciate the things that you do. I'm guilty of that a lot. I'm just going to keep it real. We have to be true to ourselves. There are a lot of things that my children do and my husband does, especially around the house, or just little things, that I notice, when I see these things being done, I do notice them, but life just kind of catches me. I've got 101 things on my mind, so if I don't have the opportunity right at that moment to say something, and then, life happens, I get a phone call, I get an email, I have to do something for work or whatever the case may be, and then it just goes right out of my mind, right? But it's not as if I didn't notice or see those things. It's just that I did, but at that given moment, I didn't have the opportunity to say, I appreciate you, or thank you for doing those things for me. And then I forget. But what happens is, the other person on the other side really needs to hear those things. They really need to hear the words. They may, at that point in time, need to hear, I appreciate you, or thank you for doing that. And you neglected to say it, not intentionally, but you neglected to say it. But there's still feelings on the other side of that conversation, or the other side of that, those feelings and emotions need to be tended to, especially if it's somebody that you love and you care about. So I personally have to work on that. I have to work on making an effort to say, I appreciate you, because I forget sometimes. And it's not that I have expectations, and that I'm not appreciative. It's just that, life kind of grabs you, by the neck. and you we're human. But you when you do realize or remember those things, make a conscious effort to say, I love you, or I appreciate you. The other thing that I wanted to mention too is sometimes, and I know for me, and again, when I speak on here, I speak, for me, right? Actions don't always speak louder than words, guys. Sometimes they do, but sometimes those words are so important. So important. People need to hear it. They see you. We do things for each other all the time, but we can't just assume just because we're showing these acts of love that people are really getting the message. Those individuals that we love are truly getting the message. So I think that it has to be a healthy combination of showing your actions and also speaking those words into existence. Okay, that's how I feel. Andy says, or Kim says, yes, they do. Oh, I'm assuming you're talking about the the hot flashes. Oh my God, yeah, they are bad. They are so bad. Andy says, need encouragement from others to help me to achieve my goals. Need to feel appreciated by family and hear the words thank you. Sometimes I feel like they have no clue and they take for granted all that I do for them, and my life is just better overall when I focus on Jesus. I love being in church and singing for Jesus. Yes, right. And Jesus is our best comforter. And I will tell you, when I'm having a moment in my life, you know, or even if it's a brief moment. And sometimes we sort of, you know, crawl into that cave of ours. You know, mine is a cave. Somebody else's might be, you know, a closet. Who knows? I think of a cave when I'm trying to hide, right? And it is comforting when you know God. You know, when God is a part of your life, it's very comforting to be able to go to that place. You know, if you guys ever, I don't know if you watch The War Room. That's a really, really, really good movie. I encourage you to watch that movie because it sort of speaks to what Andy is saying. You know, you go into that place, that room, and that's where you let out everything that you're feeling, you know, and it's your time to talk to God and get clarity, and you know, and just sort of get yourself to a place where you can come out, you know, and face the world, you know, and make decisions that God would want you to make. So I encourage you to watch The War Room. It is oh my gosh, it is a great movie. So, but Andy, I get what you're saying, you know, like it sort of speaks to what I just said, in the sense that sometimes it's not about, you know, the actions or doing for others. It is, there is a great piece of that, but I think it works really well when the words and the actions are sort of married, you know, to each other. You know, like I said, you know, I'm guilty of that at all. I do things all the time that I feel show my appreciation for, you know, the things that people do for me, but I don't always say it. And just like I need to hear certain words, so does, you know, my partner, or you know, my friend, or anybody that I have a relationship with. You know, they need to hear those words too. So again, you know, I appreciate you is a huge one. It's a big one. You know, I love you is another one. Hey Monica, thanks for joining this morning. I care about you. Sometimes when we are trying to get a point across and we are met with opposition, it's easy for us to think you just don't care, you know, because if you cared, you know, you would join forces with me, or you would, you know, you would understand if you cared. You know, we kind of, you know, intermingle caring and understanding, and that's not a fair thing to do. You know, so sometimes, you know, you can separate those feelings when when two words are being married together that really should not be. Compartmentalizing or you know, pulling those words apart and saying, you know, like separating them. I care about you. Okay? Maybe I don't understand, but I care about you. Okay? One of the words that I like to use, or the phrases that I like to use, is help me to understand. When I say those things, when I say help me to understand, that conveys a number of different things. Number one, it conveys that I want to learn about what it is that you're speaking to me about. I want to understand it. Okay. The other thing that it does when I say help me to understand, it conveys that I care because I want to know. You know, I'm struggling with understanding, but I need you to help me to understand, so that I can be in a better place. So you're sharing that you may not understand, but you do care, you know? And I use that phrase all the time. It's just, this is effective communication, okay? You're important to me, okay? You're beautiful. You mean a lot to me. All those things are really important. How many of you actually use some of these words on a regular basis? Okay, I find myself using them more towards my children than I do anybody else. Hey, good morning. My sister's watching. Good morning, Trina. What do you think, guys? Share with me this morning. How many of you actually use these words on a regular basis? Raise your hand. How many of you could probably, or this is something that you're really thinking about and you're saying, okay, maybe I need to improve in that area. Raise your hand. I'm not seeing any hand raises at all. Hey, Don. How are you this morning? Good to see you. Good to see you, Don. Gosh, I'm excited that you're with us today. We're talking about writing down the words that you need to hear. Okay, writing down the words that you need to hear. Okay, never give up. That's another good one, right? Sometimes I need to hear that. I need to hear someone say to me, don't give up. Don't give up on your dream. Don't give up on it. It's difficult sometimes. It's hard, sometimes, but don't give up. I'm here to help you through that. Okay? I miss you. That's another good one. Right? I miss you. Okay? Why do you guys think those words are important? Oh, my sister. If I misspell, I don't have my glasses. Oh my gosh, get your glasses. So why are those things important to hear and to say? I feel like relationships, especially intimate relationships, are so much more productive, when we understand what our partners need from us, and it's not just about providing, but it's about truly having a partnership, a relationship where you can talk. There are so many relationships out there, that are just existing and people don't talk, people are in talk therapy. I mean, that's why talk therapy is a thing, right? Because the words are so important to hear. The words are so important to hear. Andy says, I've got a lot of love. I can't read that. I got a lot of I love yous to Caitlin and positive reinforcement. I say thank you a lot. I need to say I want to understand. Oh gosh. I want to understand you more. Sometimes I dig my heels in. Yeah, we do that. We do that. But it is important to say, help me to understand. I mean, those words, help me to understand. Those four words say so much to a person. They really do. Gosh, we got a comedian on the line here, people. My sister says, why couldn't you have said that when I had a man? It's never too late to learn, Trina. It is never too late. You could have saved my marriage. No. You could have saved your marriage. Not me. Not me. Monica says, because it means a person really cares about you if they take that moment to motivate you and uplift you. Yes, it really does. And I mean, speak to this, you guys. Doesn't it draw you closer together? Doesn't it make you, feel good? It really does. And it's the words. It's the words. So I sort of, combat the whole actions speak louder than words thing. And I think, but not in a negative way, but for me, it's more about having that combination of the actions and the words, like say the words and then follow and then execute, follow up with the actions. And I think that's really what allows for truly a healthy relationship. And it's not just, a romantic or intimate relationship, but your friendships as well. A lot of times people use the word intimacy, and they immediately think, okay, romantic relationship. I have lots of intimate relationships with different people in my life. And those people know and understand what words, mean to me. Right? And, things can be misinterpreted in a number of different ways. And that's why words are so important. Speaking your words. Think about this for a second. Think about writing a letter. And I say this, okay, I'm a little bit all over the place, but I want to share something really quick. Right now, I am on this, quest to really sort of engage new clients, and I'm really gearing myself towards some corporate clients now. That's kind of, my audience is still, the college graduate, the high school graduate, the person who's looking for career change, but I'm also sort of expanding my client base to corporate clients. So I recently spoke to a company that I'm sort of we're hopefully we'll be negotiating some things, we hope. But anyway, I had to take an assessment before we moved any further in the evaluation process of my skill sets. I had to take an assessment. And one part of that assessment was a cognitive writing test. It was 7 minutes long, okay? And reading and writing. And what you had to do basically was, there are, 7 different ways to be able to communicate a certain, point or fact or whatever, right? And they had different ways to be able to say it, or that people would say it. And they wanted to know which one of those ways would you choose to communicate what they were trying to say, okay? And it really took me back when I first looked at it, because there was grammar that was misused. There were words that were kind of twisted and turned. There was, punctuation that wasn't correct. The words were, and the sentences were all twisted around. And I thought to myself as I was reading these things that there are people in my life that speak like this. And I was like, wow, and so I explain all that to say that it is important. It is an important part of your livelihood, okay, to be able to communicate properly. And it's not about your tone. That's part of it, how you, display, what you're trying to convey, but it is about the words that you choose and how you choose to put those words together to convey a message. Very, very important. Okay. And so, I say, write the words that you need to hear, but also, in speaking to that, also think about how you speak. Think about whether the words that you're saying are being pronounced properly, if you're using the correct form of the word, because all of those things play into how you convey your message, how people look at you, how people feel about you, And I think that, a lot of times people don't think about those types of things. They think about, we get lazy. Oh, they know what I mean. you know, and we speak a lot of, slang and the language of our culture sometimes. And when I say culture, I don't mean, race. I mean just the environment that we live in. Sometimes, we sort of fall into, how the people around us are speaking. And then when we elevate, okay, when we elevate ourselves, to the point where we're speaking the way we should be speaking, okay, the way we were taught in grade school, the way that is socially accepted, we get shunned, right? So sometimes the choice, we make the choice to speak incorrectly, then people might say, oh, well, who's to say who's correct? Well, we know what's the proper way to speak, and there are those of us who know when to turn it on and when to turn it off, right? But your words are so important. Okay. I have learned over the years, especially at work and at concerts, to be mindful of how I speak and what I want people to hear. Yes, you have to. You have to, especially like Monica, or I'm sorry, this was Andy that was saying that. But Monica too, because Monica's in, education as well, and in the school district and things. And she's constantly talking to students, to parents, to administrators. And Andy, you are too, being a school teacher. And how we speak is very important. The words that we use to convey a message are very, very important. Okay. And, we all have those things. I mean, I know for me, I say the word a lot. As I play back some of these lives sometimes, I'm getting better because I'm trying to make a conscious effort to get rid of some of those ums that I say. But I'm like, holy cow, I didn't even realize, how many times I say when I'm speaking. So I it's really important to understand, the words that you're speaking and how you're conveying those messages. Who else has got something? Do you guys agree, disagree? Where are we? It's like Andy and I are having the conversation this morning, and my sister throwing in her jokes every once in a while. Trina says, I always watch what I say. Well, those of you who know my sister knows that is maybe true sometimes, but maybe not. All right, so what else do you guys have to say? What do we want to talk about, as far as words are concerned? Anybody else have anything that they want to add? All right. People are slow to respond this morning. So I guess what I'm going to leave you guys with today is this. Understand that actions and words work hand in hand. Okay, these are the messages that I want to convey today. Actions and words work hand in hand. It's not enough to show your appreciation. You have to communicate that appreciation as well. It's not enough to show someone that you love them, buying them flowers, candy, hearts and roses. Sometimes they need to hear the words, I love you. It's not enough sometimes to just give a hug, to show that you care. Sometimes you just need to care. You need to say that you care. I guess that's where I'm going to leave it. So, my sister says, what's the words for today? I have words for today. The words for today are smile through the hard times. Because right now we are in hard times. People are going through a lot right now, and they need to hear, positive words of encouragement. How many times have we, people have said, tons of times, I have, give me some words of encouragement, some powerful words of encouragement, something that I can take with me to, fight off the evil that's going to be, cast before me, because that happens so many times. And sometimes it's just the words. Sometimes it's just the words that you need that give you that energy. We talked about being the spark plug, right? Or the generator that gives you the energy to keep pushing forward. Especially, okay, Andy says, especially have to watch what I say when I'm frustrated or upset with someone. Have to take a breath. Think before I speak, right? Yes, or pray. Woo, that's powerful. Yes, I mean, there are many times, when you're pushed to your limit, yet you still have to interact with others. You can't go into that war room. You're not in a position at that moment in time to go into your war room, right? And gather your thoughts. You have to really concentrate on prayer and filtering. Okay, if you take my communication class, we'll talk about filtering. Monica says, I tell my kids, don't talk to me like you talk to your friends. My kids still say, yes, ma'am, yes, sir, no, ma'am, no, sir. Amen, Monica. Yep. Yep. And that's how you show respect too, in some ways too. That's why I'm trying to say, like, the words are so important. It's how we communicate. There's verbal communication, there's written communication, and then there's that nonverbal communication, okay, which are your acts, okay, but all of those play an important part in communicating effectively. Okay, my sister says, yeah, I think she's talking to Monica. Yeah, girl, keep them right. Yeah, you got to do that with your children. All right, so I am going to close with that unless anybody has anything else to say. And then we are let me give you your topic for tomorrow. All right, I got a couple of things for you guys for tomorrow. One thing, and it's going to require some engagement, so please be prepared. As a matter of fact, I am going to see, hey, Willette, how are you? Thanks for joining this morning. We're getting ready to end, but I hope to see you tomorrow. I'm really going to work on this whole live streaming thing. So that actually I'm going to save this exercise until I can get that down. I got somebody helping me, figure out the live streaming so that we can talk to each other. But your topic for tomorrow, we're going to gear this more towards professional development and career readiness is where I'm going over the next couple of days. So we'll start here with your writing prompts, okay? If you had 10 free hours a week and could learn one skill, what would it be and why? All right, tomorrow's writing prompts. Hey, Sandy, if you had 10 free hours a week and could learn one skill, what would it be and why? That's our writing prompt for tomorrow. I look forward to seeing you guys. I appreciate always those of you who join. Thanks, Don, for coming and checking us out today. I really appreciate it. Thanks to my sister for providing Comedy Central while we were on the line here. Thank you to all my faithful followers. Um, Thank you to Jan, if you're still on. I really appreciate you showing up this morning. Um, anyway, love having you guys here. I really appreciate it. If you or someone you know is looking to buy a home or just wants some knowledge on home ownership, remember we have our free home buyers education class tomorrow night from 7 to 9 p.m. Go to Eventbrite for the link. I also put that information in the live feed. I appreciate you all. Have a great rest of your day, and we will chat again tomorrow. Thanks, everybody. Take care now. Bye-bye.